Okay, of all the products I have reviewed over the last 10 years at Breaking 80, I am not sure there is a product that I have been more impressed by for the price than this. The Garmin APPROACH R10 launch monitor. This thing is unreal. And today I'm gonna tell you why. We're gonna talk about the pros, the cons, and whether or not it's the right fit for you and if you should buy it. So stay tuned. All right, so what's the big deal with the Garmin R10? Why is everybody talking about this product? Because it's only 600 bucks, and this launch monitor, it does things that products that are 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times more expensive, it does the same thing as those products. It might not be quite as accurate, it might not be quite as professional feeling, but it does a pretty darn good job, and that's what we're gonna talk about in this video. All right, so let's talk first impressions for the R10. It comes in this nice little pleather case that's a nice step up from kind of the canvas cases you get with your typical rangefinder or whatever, and you open it up and you're just like, oh, this is sleek. This looks good. The all black thing it's got going on here, it looks really nice. And to take it a step further, it's not like this stuff is all just kind of willy-nilly tossed in here. It's kind of like a Pelican case where it's, carved out of, I don't know, whatever this material is, this like kind of hard styrofoam type material, but it's all carved out. And so each thing has a spot in it and it just feels very high end. And normally with a launch monitor, you get the device and it's got like a little kickstand or whatever and you put it there and that's all you get. But Garmin went a step further and they include a few things that really make this kind of a game changer in this price point. So first off, you've got the magnetic tripod stand. So this thing's super convenient. It clips on just like so, and then you set it behind you on the range and away you go. But not only that, this might be one of my favorite features of the device, is it comes with a smartphone clip. You basically stick your phone in here, you clip it to whatever you want. You can clip it to your bag, a box of range balls, whatever it is, and you've got easy access to all the data on your phone. So you can both see what's happening when you're hitting balls and you can go in and adjust as necessary. Whereas if I'm using like the FLIGHTSCOPE MEVO or the Rapsodo, which actually has to have your phone in place, you're not really sure where to put it or how to use your phone on an easy basis. You're kind of having to constantly go and duck down and get it off the floor or whatever. But this, you can clip it to your bag, set it right by where you're hitting balls, and you can see it eye level, and it works super well. So we talked about first impressions, how impressive this thing looks. From a size perspective, it's very small, it's very sleek. The only issue is you've got this great looking case, but it's not super thin. So if you're the kind of person where you're like, cool, I just wanna like toss this in my bag and leave it in there all the time, it's a little bulky for that. And that kind of surprised me. For instance, comparing this to the FLIGHTSCOPE MEVO Plus, this is a much smaller device, but as far as portability goes, it's not quite as portable because of this, bulky case. So the R10 pairs with the Garmin Golf app. So if you're using any other Garmin device, you may be familiar with it. If you're using like the S42 or 62 golf watch, if you're using the CT10 sensors, if you're using the Z82 rangefinder, they have some really weird names for all their products, don't they? They look kind of a little confusing. But if you're using any of those, it's all going to use the Garmin Golf app. And I gotta say, I really like what they've built with their ecosystem. If you start using all of these products in tandem, you're getting all of your data from your rounds, all of your data from your practice. You're getting a ton of information all in one spot, and I think that's fantastic. And it's really making a strong case for why you should pick up Garmin products over some of their competitors, because you're getting so much data about your golf game all in one spot. Pairing the R10 with the app, it literally took 2 minutes or less. It is super sleek, super fast. The user experience is great, and compared to all of the launch monitors I've used, this one is probably the fastest for setting it up and getting accurate results as quickly as possible. So I talked about how the MEVO Plus, which is over 3 times the price of this one, I talked about how it's easy to set up, but if you really want to make sure it's accurate, you got to spend a little bit of time dialing in some of the settings. You got to adjust the lie angle and the loft, and it can give you inaccurate readings if you don't spend time doing that. Whereas every time I've used the R10, I take the tripod, I pick it up, I set it down 7, 8 feet behind me, and I'm getting accurate results pretty much right away. And when I say accurate, it's all relative. We'll talk performance statistics in just a minute. But overall, setting this thing up, super easy to use. So for as easy as the Garmin Golf app is to set up, you will find some pros and cons when you're using it. For instance, one of the cons is you can only use it in vertical mode. So if you want to use it on an iPad, it doesn't necessarily do a great job of leveraging the full real estate and the full screen. And personally, I had some issues setting it up on my iPad, so I've been sticking with using it on my iPhone. I've generally found the distances to be pretty good. Where you'll find issues is if you're hitting driver, you're going to start to get a little bit of variance with the distances. You know, it would probably be within 3 to 5 yards typically of what you would get on like a TrackMan. And it usually seemed like it would be within like 3 yards or so when I was comparing it to distances I got with a rangefinder. Also, if you're hitting like a sand wedge or gap wedge and you're hitting some really, really high balls, often you might run into a couple issues with that. But for the most part, with standard shots, it was great with trajectory and it would dial in your distances to within a yard or two. Again, a little bit more of a variance with the driver, but with most clubs, it's going to be pretty freaking accurate for a $600 device. When you're using the app on the range, there's a few different views you can have. So there's one where you can select basically what are the metrics you want to see the most. Do you want to see carry distance, actual distance, and spin rate? Then you can set that up. So those are the 3 metrics you can see in very big print. Do you want to see the shot tracer and you want to see the trajectory of your ball? You can set that up. It does a really good job of allowing you to overlay all of your practice sessions. So if you want to see kind of the disparity between here's my driver, here's my 3-wood, here's my 7-iron, my 5-iron, whatever it might be, you can look that on a range and it's going to show you different colors. So you can see every shot that you hit. So Garmin has adopted kind of a cartoony, consumer-friendly motif when it comes to the design of using it, whether you're looking at the range or you're using some of the cool built-in games and features of the device. Whereas if you're comparing it to, say, the MEVO Plus or something from Foresight or a TrackMan, those all feel like professional launch monitors and like you've got professional tools to really dial in the information. Whereas you can still get, and you will still get, a ton of information within the Garmin app. It doesn't feel quite as professional level. For instance, if you went to a club fitter and they were using this, you'd probably be like, all right, like this doesn't quite feel like I'm getting kind of the professional deal. But if you're someone who doesn't want to have to worry about dialing in a bunch of settings and things like that, the Garmin Golf app is really easy to use and really easy to read. So I think you're going to be happy with it. From the moment I was hitting my first shots with the R10, I was really impressed. You sit there and you watch the shot tracer pretty much give you an identical view of what your ball is doing. At least it would do that, 80% of the time. 4 out of 5 shots would be great. Maybe it might miss one or get it slightly off, but that's to be expected with a device that is as small and affordable as this. Again, we're still talking about kind of a consumer level product, not necessarily a professional launch monitor. Do you want to see all of your statistics possible? You can get all of that information. So it does a really good job of allowing you to kind of customize what you want to see based on what you're working on. So where the R10 really starts to shine is with some of the unexpected or bonus features that you might not be thinking a $600 device is going to come with. So the obvious one is it comes with a license to E6. E6 is one of the biggest golf simulator pieces of software out there, and you can use it with the R10, which is pretty amazing. So it comes with access to 5 or 6 golf courses, including Bandon Dunes, which is pretty cool. So that means you can take this device and while you're on the range or while you're at home in your garage, you can play a fully simulated round at Bandon Dunes with all of the same data you're gonna get from using the launch monitor on a range using the Garmin app. You can get all of that within the E6 app as well. That is a really cool bonus feature. It did take me a little bit of time to get it set up. Probably took me like 15 minutes to get it set up and working properly. Every time I've used E6, it's always been a little cumbersome. And it also only comes with 1 license for iOS devices. So you can't use it on a PC, but if you do try and pair it to, say, your iPad, and then you want to switch over and use it on your iPhone, you're going to have to unpair on the iPad, repair on the phone, and it can be a little bit of a process. So just kind of keep that in mind. You're best off to get it started on whichever device you think you are going to be using the most. But that's a really, really cool feature to have. It makes the R10 one of the best options if you're looking for a good simulator set up at home, but you're not looking to break the bank to do it. So for as cool as the E6 option is, the one that surprised me the most is called Home T Hero. So I didn't even know that this existed when I got my Garmin. I was just kind of playing around with the app and I'm like, oh, I wonder what this is. So this basically allows you to play kind of a semi-simulated round on any golf course in the country. So it'll give you a GPS kind of aerial view. It'll tell you what hole you're playing, what the distance is. You hit the shot, and then it'll basically say, okay, you're in the fairway and you have 146 yards to go to the green. And it allows you to do that. So you're not getting the 3D simulator experience, but you're still essentially able to practice as though you are playing on a course. And you can do that with any course, which is really cool. So I've done it on Pebble Beach. I've done it on my home course, Witch Hollow. And it's pretty cool because if it's a course you know well, you really do kind of feel like you're playing the course, and it adds an extra element to your practice, which is really kind of cool, especially if you're doing this in your garage in the middle of winter. It's a fun thing to be able to do. The caveat to this is Home Tee Hero is part of Garmin's Golf Club membership, which is $10 a month. That's going to get you access to Home Tee Hero. It's also going to get you access to expanded storage for your video clips. So you can use your smartphone to record every single shot you hit on the range, and it will save it to the app, and then you can go and you can review that anywhere you want. So if you want unlimited video swings and you're the type of person that likes to kind of go back and look at everything you're doing and watch it in slow motion and compare from sessions, then it's probably going to be worth it to spend the $10 a month to get the Garmin Golf Club membership. Like I said, it's $10 a month, but it comes with a free 30-day trial, so you can give it a shot before deciding if it's something you want to commit to long term. I found the battery life on this to be great. It's rated at 10 hours, and I've definitely gotten close to that, if not more than that. So you don't necessarily need to worry about charging it all the time. You can leave it in your car, your locker, your bag, and use it for multiple sessions before you have to go back and charge it. That's one of the big benefits to this compared to the MEVO Plus, which it's amazing that you would even compare these two things, considering that's 3-4 times more expensive, but they do similar things. And the MEVO Plus does do some things better, and for some people it is absolutely worth the extra money, but for others, this is going to be all you need. I did do a whole video comparing these two products, so I'll link that below, so be sure to go check it out if you're trying to decide between those two launch monitors. So change of pace, I'm not sitting in my office anymore, as you can see, although this might as well be my office, but there were a couple things when I was doing the first version of this review that I just forgot to mention. The first is that when I initially did my written review a couple months ago, I talked about you could not put the R10 into landscape mode using the Garmin Golf app. They have updated this. You can use it in Home Tee Hero and some of the other modes, but I have still not been able to do it in driving range mode. So if you are on the range, as far as I know, you're still pretty much stuck with it in vertical mode. Okay, so you might be looking at the R10 on paper and you're like, what's the catch? How can a $600 product be doing the same things that a $2,000, $3,000, $6,000 product are doing? Well, here's the catch. It's that it's not directly measuring most of those statistics. So the R10 is measuring your ball speed, your club head speed, your launch angle, and your launch direction. Those are the main parameters it is covering. All of the other statistics, as far as I understand it, those are all calculated using an algorithm. So it's not actually giving you your carry distance. It's not actually giving you your spin rates. It's not actually giving you your face to path. These are all calculated using algorithms, so it's not measuring them directly, and thus is not going to be quite as accurate. Whereas with the MEVO Plus, it's measuring more of those things directly without having to rely on algorithms that are essentially trying to guess what those statistics are. So if you're someone who is really concerned about accuracy, if you're trying to dial in your shots down to the nearest yard, if you're trying to really understand exactly what your spin rates are, then the R10 may not be good enough for you. It'll give you those numbers, but it's not going to be as accurate as a device that measures them directly using the built-in sensors in that device. So does that mean you shouldn't buy it? Well, no, because for most of us, we don't need it to be that accurate. A good guess, close enough, is usually going to be better. At least it is for me, and that's why I think this is such a good deal still. Okay, I think those were all the things that I forgot to mention before, so let's go back to the office and finish the rest of this video. So overall, what's there to say about the R10 that hasn't already been said? It's really good. I'm not sure if you're going to find anyone who, for the price, says this isn't a phenomenal launch monitor. You've got way more features than some of the lower price products, like the Rapsodo MLM and the original FLIGHTSCOPE MEVO, and it's on par with ones that are multiple times the price. There is one big problem with the Garmin R10 as I shoot this in March of 2022. It's that they're not that available. It's been sold out on the Garmin website for the last couple months, and honestly, I have no idea when they're going to be back in stock. And if you do find it in stock, you should probably just go buy it, even if you don't want it, because I'm sure there's someone at your club or a friend of yours that would love to have it that hasn't been able to pick one up. It truly is one of the best values in golf. If you're looking for a way to get better, make practice more fun, play games on the range, track your practice statistics, this thing's a no-brainer. Like, it really is that good. When you're looking at all the different products I've mentioned in this video, this is the one I find myself turning to and using the most, simply because it's the easiest to use and you get most of the accuracy without any of the hassle that you might get with some of the more expensive launch monitors. So with that, my name's Sean Ogle. I'm the founder of this thing here at Breaking 80, where for the last 10 years, I've been giving you unbiased golf course and golf product reviews. So if that sounds like something you're into, maybe give this video a thumbs up, go hit the subscribe button, jump over to breaking80.com/hi, hop on our newsletter, where a couple times a month I send you all of the latest golf course and golf product reviews that don't suck and are from an average person for average people like yourself. I mean, I'm not saying you're average. I'm sure you're well above average, but if you're not a pro golfer, then my reviews, they might be for you. So with that, I hope you have an excellent day. We'll see you on the next video, and yeah, take it easy. Peace.